So, Steve, let's start with you. From being the CEO of Microsoft, now the owner of the LA Clippers, what's the biggest difference in those two roles for you?
I'll say, ironically, the biggest difference is the greater level of accountability in sports than business.
Okay.
I always think of business as a lot more accountable than government. I mean, every day your customer is holding you accountable, your shareholders. But you can always say, hey, look, I missed it this quarter, I'll fix it next quarter. You can't say that in sports. We blew this 24 seconds. We lost this game. This season's over. And in a way, it was a lesson for me in even greater accountability than business. I'd say that's one difference, one similarity. I'm not an engineer. I had to manage engineers. I'm not a basketball guy. And, we have experts, but I still have to oversee a function and a group of guys who do something that I don't really understand.
Well, congratulations and good luck this season to both of us, right? The Jazz and the Clippers. So you guys both obviously come from a business background, both with Bain and with Microsoft. Senator, tell me a little bit about the tech community here and why you think it's so important to be here in Utah.
Well, one of the things that actually Governor Levitt did when he served here was establish an enormous commitment to creating more engineering graduates. Some 40,000 additional engineers on top of the normal run rate were created over a decade, and that has been a magnet that has drawn in some of the best technology companies in the world to make Utah their home. And I think you're going to continue to see that as you recognize that the Michael Porter concept of clusters, we've become a high-tech cluster, and we're not at the same scale as California might have today, but we're growing fast and able to be more selective in who we encourage to come to our state. And I think what that provides is greater opportunity for our young people and a bright future for our state.
And you guys talked about so many different things up there on stage, but I want to hear your feedback about Utah. How do you like this community here and the tech world that's really busting at the seams here in Salt Lake?
Yeah, no, it's amazing, and it goes back years. I mean, it really goes back. I started Microsoft in 1980, and there was already a strong tech community here. And it's because of the universities. It's because of BYU and University of Utah, and those are two good anchors. I mean, the founders of Adobe came out of University of Utah. WordPerfect, Novell, Qualtrics now. Those kinds of great companies result from great universities, at least to get started, and then the cluster can build. So, I started a R&D lab for Microsoft in Utah when I was CEO, just because there was so much good talent here.
You saw it long ago, and it's just growing quickly. Okay, I want to know what you can think about this for a second, what you're both passionate about and focusing most of your energy and time on right now.
Well, I have a little job in Washington.
Tell me a little bit more about it.
And I'd say we have some enormous challenges. And Steve was just mentioning that the world of sport is more immediately measurable than even business and accountable on an immediate basis. And the reality is business is far more accountable than government. Politicians all the time can basically say, gee, if things don't go well, one, I don't believe the numbers, and they can lie about it. Or two, they can say it's all because of the opposition. It's that other party. They're the ones that are the problem, and if you just elect me, why, we'll solve all those problems. And of course, if things get really bad, you just borrow more money and say it doesn't make any difference. We can just keep on borrowing, no one will worry. I mean, that's really unfortunate, and part of my job is to say, what are the real challenges we face as a country, and what are the needs we have as a state, and address those in a way that's honest, that says these are the kinds of challenges we're going to have to face head on. These are the approaches we could take that I believe in. If you agree with me, great. If you don't, why, you can elect someone else down the road. But that's what I'm working on, and it relates to three big things. The emergence of China as the world's leading power. That's something which is a real threat to liberal democracy. We're going to have to deal with that. Number two, climate. And the climate is a real threat to people in the American West as well as to the entire planet. And number three, how much debt we have. Those are three big issues I worry about and I work on.
And you've got a lot to work on with those three things
plenty
sure.
to take care of my day, yeah.
Absolutely. And what about you? What are you focusing on right now?
Yeah, really three things. My wife and I philanthropically spend a lot of time we exclusively focus in on kids and families in the U.S. where people don't get a shot at the American dream because they're born into tough circumstances. A lot to do there. I think there's a role for philanthropy, there's a role for government, there's a role for business. I'm not saying everybody's going to make it, to the highest level, but everybody should have an opportunity. It's a little different, and it's a little different spending and everything else that you do. Number two, for me, I focus in on USA Facts. We work hard to try to objectively take government numbers, package them, make them non-emotional, comprehensive, and comprehensible for citizens. And also, that's really where Senator Romney recently and I started spending more time together, because senators got, let's just say, a lot more interest in real numbers and real outcomes than his.
Then some.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, thank you.
Leave it there.
And you know, that's, I think, a shared passion. And then for me, the third thing is, you know, what this season's going to look like for the Clippers. And we're building a new arena and trying to make sure we get it right. My favorite arena, I'll just say this in this podcast, my favorite arena in the NBA right now is, in fact, Vivint here in Salt Lake. I love Vivint. I want to love ours more. We're
I love
working to be
hearing
even
that.
better.
Yes.
It's the most energetic, passionate, and part of it is just the construction of the arena. I think it's fantastic.
Amazing. Well, here's to a great season for everyone, right? Can we say that safely at this table here? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us this week at Summit, and good luck with everything.